This Suzuki Vitara may be one of the older designs in the compact SUV segment, but it now has one of the most modern engines, with mild hybrid electrification added to a redesigned K14D series version of the company's 1.4-litre booster jet petrol power plant. The brand has also taken the opportunity to add extra equipment and standardise a range of camera safety features. And, unusually in this class, there's still the option of a proper lockable four-wheel drive system if you want it. Time to take a second look at this car.
The Vitara has a slightly more athletic feel than Suzuki's other compact SUV in this segment, the S-Cross, and that hasn't been appreciably diluted by the marginal extra weight of the additional electrified tech. You may already be familiar with the way that mild hybrid engines work, but just in case not, here's a quick recap. Now basically, energy that would otherwise be lost when braking or cruising off throttle is harvested via a kinetic energy recovery system, and it's sent to a small lithium-ion battery that here has been placed beneath the front passenger seat. Now this is used to drive a belt-driven ISG unit, an integrated starter generator, and power the engine's stop-start system. Suzuki's old 12-volt mild hybrid SHVS package didn't do a lot more than that, but this improved 48-volt setup can also deliver a couple of other important benefits. The first is something quite unusual amongst current mild hybrids, and that's the ability for this Suzuki to idle and even coast on full electric power, although only below 10 miles an hour. The other fresh benefit here is something supposed to be now quite common amongst mild hybrid models, and that's the ability to torque fill under acceleration to compensate for turbo lag, which is just as well because this Vitara hybrid's new K14D series 1.4-litre booster jet petrol engine has less power than the unit of the same size it replaces, 127 bhp instead of 138, but there is now a fraction more torque, from 230 to 235 newton meters, and the 62 miles an hour sprint takes 9.5 seconds en route to 118 miles an hour. There is no longer an automatic gearbox option, and a proper lockable all-grip four-wheel drive system is optional on the top-spec SZ5 variant. You'll want to know what the efficiency benefits of the hybrid powertrain are. Well, Suzuki quotes a combined cycle WLTP fuel reading of up to 49.7 mpg for the front-driven variants. It's 45.4 for the all-grip four-wheel drive version, and the WLTP-rated CO2 reading is 128 grams per kilometre, or 140 grams per kilometre for the four-wheel drive version. This may be a Vitara for a different age, but it's still very much a Vitara, even if it does only come with 5 doors these days. Visual ties with the 1988 original are maintained by the traditional clamshell bonnet, the front wing vents, the rising feature lines of the flanks, and the shape of the headlights. As you'd expect, though, this is a more modern interpretation of what a car of this kind should be, and the facelift tweaks made in 2018 to this 4th generation LY series model aim to emphasise this with a few carefully chosen styling updates. Most of those changes feature here at the front, where the grille these days features 6 vertical slats rather than the 2 horizontal ones that we used previously. The smarter design of these LED headlamps that flank it, that represents the only visual change made to this hybrid engine model. Time to take a seat up front. You sit in a properly commanding high-set position, something which can't be taken for granted on small SUVs these days. To try to improve the interior ambiance, Suzuki upgraded the seat upholstery fabric across the lineup as part of the 2018 facelift, and gave the upper part of the dashboard a smarter soft touch finish. And at least with this mid-range SZT model, there are clear signs of aesthetic effort. The polished grey fascia panel, the white seat stitching, the prominent round vents, and the polished piano black finishing around the centre stack. To be frank though, more than that was really needed if Suzuki was going to give this cabin any kind of really premium feel. As before, a 7-inch smartphone link audio system screen dominates the centre of the dash on most models. Now the graphics here aren't particularly sophisticated, but it does incorporate navigation, a DAB tuner and a reversing camera. A further smaller colour display between the instrument dials here delivers everything from a hybrid energy monitor to a G-force motion meter. Let's take a seat in the back. Well, you certainly couldn't call this rear seat spacious, but there is a bit more legroom than you might expect from a compact crossover. Headroom is fine, providing you haven't chosen the top SZ5 variant, which gets a panoramic glass roof and one of the largest it's possible to have in this class of car, and that does rob the ceiling of a few vital millimetres. We'll finish with a look at the boot. One of the advantages of choosing a car with mild hybrid technology rather than a full hybrid or a plug-in hybrid is that boot space won't be compromised by the underfloor rear placement of a hefty battery. And that's certainly not the case here. Lift the rear hatch and the class competitive 375 litre capacity that the previous non-electrified version of this car could offer has been preserved intact. There's still plenty to like about the Vitara. The light curb weight delivers agile handling. There's more space inside than you get with competitors like Nissan's Duke. And there are high standards of specification to sugar the showroom proposition. But it's harder to like all of this quite as much at the significantly higher prices that Suzuki needs to charge to cover the expense of the mild hybrid tech. The bottom line, though, is that this car is cleaner, more frugal and better equipped than most of its competitors, and that suggests that this 4th generation LY series design still has plenty of life left in it yet. As we reach the 50th anniversary of the Suzuki 4x4, what we have here is much more of a Vitara for the modern world, and a car that in this form is now just a little more than just a fashion statement.